Good evening. At this time, I would like to call the special meeting of the Sweetwater County Board County Commissioners together. And this special meeting is a meeting to work with the intergovernmental communities and leaders in the county. From this point forward, I'll reference this meeting as the Sweetwater County Intergovernmental Joint Leadership Group, consisting of the 4 towns governing bodies, as well as the 2 cities governing bodies and the Board of County Commissioners. Unless I hear from anybody out there that better idea for a name for the group moving forward, I will remain with that. At this time, I would like to notify that we do have a quorum present. We have 3 commissioners in chamber, and we have 2 commissioners on Zoom. Will you please stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, for everybody that is on Zoom, I would ask that you please mute your screen so we don't have any feedback. Thank you very much. If you happen to be on a phone, make sure it's muted, as if it's not, we may get someone with a hold that'll give us music. So we will go through there. Following this Pledge of Allegiance, at this time, I would entertain a motion from the commissioners to suspend Robert's Rules of Orders.
I'd so move.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lloyd to suspend Robert's Rules of Orders. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Commissioner Shanefield. Any further discussion?
I'm Mrs. Tolman.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Tolman. Thank you. Anyhow, any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. With that, at this time, I'd like to take roll and just make sure that we have the county represented. Do we have representation with Bear Oil? I believe we do. Would you respond, Bear Oil, so everybody knows you're there?
Here.
Thank you, Gus.
Go
Do we
ahead.
have representation
Yes,
from
we're here.
Superior? Do we have representation from Superior? They may get on later. Thank you. Do we have representation from Wamsutter? They may get on later. Thank you. Do we have representation? Oh, Joe, you're there.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, we are here.
All right, I'll pause a little bit because I know people that are on phones, it takes a little longer to unmute. So we do have Wamsutter. How about participation from Granger?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Do we have representation from Green River?
Yes.
And how about Rock Springs?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do, and we do also have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We appreciate knowing that, Mayor, and we'll keep that in mind as we move forward. I just would like to remind everybody that, again, just that we're here to investigate and work for all of us as governing bodies to look at efficiencies, look at any way there is any possibility that we can work as a solid organization, a solid entity moving forward, and look at possibilities of coordinating services and improving services for all the residents of Sweetwater County and that type of thing. So with that, moving forward, I just quickly want to review under old topics, finalize ambulance appointments. Granger, do you have an appointment? Granger, are you out there?
At this time, this is Stanley Joranson, council member.
Yes,
And
Stanley.
at this time here, we do not have an appointment. Although I
Okay.
did talk to Mayor Brad McCollum and also Hippie Valerio. And so if we do have a representative, they'll probably come from within the fire department.
All right, I would ask that when the city of Granger, as well as any Superior, town of Superior and town of Granger, as soon as you have appointments, I will give you an email address that you'll need to contact so that a commissioner will be able to be the main contact and get out the information. So as soon as you know that, please email this commissioner. It'll be Commissioner Smith. His email address is Smith J, Jeff Smith, Smith J at sweet, SWEET.WI.US. With that, I have, does Beryl have they're covered by Carbon County so far in the ambulance business? Do you still wish to not have a representative? Beryl?
Correct.
Thank you, Susan.
The mayor indicated yes.
Yes, okay. Who is that going to be? Mayor?
No. We're going to continue with Carbon County.
With Carbon County, very good, thank you. And then, of course, Wamsutter, they have their services there. So we should have from Green River, Councilman Bushman, Bailey Doctor, Chris Meeks, Rock Springs, Councilman Robinson. We'll wait for Granger, Superior. Then from Sweetwater County, we'll have Commissioner Smith. And email address for everybody for Commissioner Smith to get to him so he can start working with everybody is Smith J at sweet.wi.us. Before I go on, a few talking points for this committee and all further committees and mayors. Please feel comfortable to get on and add as you like, but this is a working document. As committees work, they should consider, first of all, designating a committee lead. At our last meeting, I talked about leads. My specific, I should clear up, is that I was talking about a leading for the county, not for the committee. So committees need to designate a committee lead. Committees need to consider alternative services, deliveries, and costs. They need to consider financial impacts of services. Also consider, one of the considerations, are services needed? Consideration, can we save dollars? And if yes, how? And then always consideration is, how is it going to be funded and who's going to bear costs? And plans that to get us to change the model if determined that it needs to be changed. I will say this, that if we move into moving forward, if there is a special district out there that may be impacted as part of one of those options, at that point in time, we'll reach out and offer that special district the opportunity to come to the table. But until our committees come up with options and we move forward, at this point in time, I would say that we hold off with having special districts involved, and then if an option that we're looking at includes them, then we want to bring them to the table. Mayors, I would ask you to consider those committees' considerations on other, as well as council members. They're under other on the back of the agenda. And if there's anything else we need to add, let's bring it up either today or we'll do it another time. We will finalize. So anything for the ambulance? We move forward. Okay, the next one on your list was special purpose tax for penny, 6 penny. We have Green River, Councilman Kilpack and Ryan Rust. Rock Springs, Councilman West. Granger, Mayor McCullum. Superior, Mayor Wolf. Bear Oil, Mayor Regano. Wamsutter, Joe, you're out there. Have you got an appointment for the 6 penny yet?
This is Joe Erickson with Town of Wamsutter.
Yes,
we haven't, and I was sorry that I had to leave abruptly from the last meeting. I can talk to my council people tonight, tomorrow, and I will have that back for you tomorrow.
All right. Please notify Sally Shoemaker, Commissioner Secretary, Administrative Assistant, and she will add it to the list, and then she'll make sure that the county representatives, which is Commissioner Shanefield and Commissioner Lloyd, who are part of that. So at this time, I would ask that the county people take a lead for the moment to organize that committee to set up, and then that committee determine within itself as to who should lead that. I know in the past it has been Commissioner Shanefield because of the focus of the county, but I'm going to leave that up to you as a group. Any questions on the six penny? Mayors, you okay?
Good.
Very good. Now on the joint communications and joint telecommunications boards. Let's start with the joint communications. The thing I'd like to say there is that is a MOU, that is a joint board that has an MOU between the cities of Rock Springs, Green River, and the county. And that also has board members that are appointed by each of those three entities. And that MOU focuses on funding and providing services with oversight from the three communities. So with that, we will have a joint communications committee, and it'll be made up of Green River, who is Councilman Jost and Mr. Erdman. And then from Rock Springs, Commissioner or Mayor Como, do you have an appointment?
We have two appointments that are already there, Pacheco and Walmsley. Actually, we need to talk about that a little bit more, Mr. Chairman. Are we looking for separate? We had a discussion last time at the meeting of having committees that are overseeing committees. And I'm going to like to say that the three appointments we have there are definitely know our concerns, and I would feel comfortable with those three participating in those discussions.
I fully agree with that. I believe we will have what I'll do for this committee, as well as I'll talk with telecommunications and find out who the appointments are from Rock Springs, Green River, and Sweetwater County. I agree that there's three members for each of us, and find out their assignments, and I'll get them to you. And I believe those people can have oversight along with any liaison from either one of the three entities. Are you okay with that?
I am okay with that.
All right, I'll take care of that. Sally's making notes as we talk, and I'll get that out within the day or so to the two mayors and to the county people. So I'll leave that one. I'll do the same thing, checking on joint telecommunications. I'll work with Commissioner Shanefield, and I know that's a board representative, again, of the entities, and we'll look at that and keep that within the Green River, Rock Springs, and county. Would you mayors be agreeable to that?
Agreed in Rock Springs.
Mayor from Green River, Russ?
Yes,
All
that'd
right.
be fine, Doc.
All right. Then also, I want to address the joint airport board right now. I do know that in that MOU, it's primarily Rock Springs and the county, but I also will share that in the past, the airport has worked on expanding that MOU to give the opportunity to Green River if they were willing to, and then COVID came along, so that MOU kind of got the brakes put on it. But then the other aspect of it, for everybody's knowledge, is we do know the airport at the legislate this session is there's legislation going through to where airports could be considered as a special district if it's approved by the legislature this year. So I think at this point in time, I would like to recommend, and mayors, I'm open for your suggestions, is we continue that oversight with the airport with our board representation from the county or from the board itself, with the idea that we do have liaison from the county, which is Commissioner Toman. From Green River, we have Mayor Rust on it as a representative from Green River, and Mayor Como, I believe you have Rock Springs representation there. Is that correct?
We do. Councilman West.
Very good. So let's keep that joint airport board right there until we know where we're at with the legislation that's coming through, and then we can go from there. Would you be agreeable, Mayor West, or I'm sorry, Mayor, I did it again to you.
It's coming.
I apologize. I just wrote his name down, so it's branded in my forehead. Mayor Como and Mayor Rust, are you okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, so let's move into the next one to review, which is centralized inventory. From Green River, we have the Mayor Rust and Council or Mira Sorry. Is that correct, Mayor? Mira Sorry.
Yeah, and can you hear me or am I on mute?
No, you're good. You're coming through.
And there's been a change that so instead of me, Sherry Bushman, Councilwoman Sherry Bushman.
Very good. Councilwoman Bushman. All right. Rock Springs, Mayor, Mayor Como, do you have any appointment for there?
Our appointments will be our Chief Financial Officer, Matt McBurnett, and Councilman Brent Patolo.
Very good. All righty. All right. With that, Granger, are you interested in looking at centralized inventory? Mayor Granger?
Well, once again, this is Councilman Stanley Joranson.
Okay, Stanley.
This, as far as I know, has not been discussed with the mayor and the council members, although I think this is right where we kind of left off the last time we had one of these meetings. And so right now we have no input to put in on that, but I did talk to Brad earlier and also with Hippie. And so I'll talk to the other council members and we'll come back to you on this.
All right. And again, we'll use Sally Shoemaker, the administrative secretary for the commissioners. If you'll contact her, please. Do we have representation on from Superior yet? No. All right. How about representation from, I know Bear Oil's on. What's your thoughts about centralized inventory? Mayor Regano?
Yes, we are interested in the centralized.
Okay. Do you have a council person? Or yourself?
Clausen.
Pardon? Lowell?
Councilman Clausen.
Councilman Clausen, thank you. And Wamsetter, Mayor Erickson, are you on? Do you have anybody?
Yes, sir, Chairman. We like I said, I did not. I missed this part of the meeting last time, so I didn't get to discuss this with the council. But we are definitely interested in the centralized inventory. So if I can get back to Sally tomorrow, I'll have somebody appointed for it.
Thank you. And for Sweetwater County, will be Commissioner Toman, as well as we'll have our purchasing person, Marty Vernovich, involved as well. Let's, at this point in time, that I will ask Commissioner Toman if she would take the time to set up the first meeting. And then at that meeting, could we please, again, reorganize it within that group to select who's going to lead that meeting. Commissioner Toman, are you okay with that? All right, let's make sure everybody gets their email addresses to Sally with regard to centralized inventory. Thank you. All right, moving on now, we have new topics and they're listed and that type of thing. So with that, I know when I got the list, when I received the list of topics from the cities and that, these topics that are coming up were referenced through the mayor of Rock Springs. So with that, I would like to yield the floor to the mayor of Rock Springs. And Mayor, I'll do some note writing as well as everybody else. If you would like to talk about whichever one starting to top the list and see who we want to put in for volunteers. Are you out there, Mayor?
I'm there, Mr. Chairman. First off, we have the Solid Waste Recycling Center and issues associated with recycling and solid waste. And I think it's critical that we pull together and combine resources and share those resources and responsibilities as much as we possibly can. I know Green River has mentioned an interest, but that being said, is Granger have an interest in being involved in solid waste and recycling in the district and the discussions?
Well, I'm sure we will be interested in the discussions as far as appointing a liaison or somebody to a board or a committee.
Okay.
That's not for me to say.
Okay, could you bring that up to your group and then supply a name that would be interested in being a liaison to that, if you would?
We sure will.
And
Yes,
then Wamsutter, are you interested?
Yeah, right now we just have our solid waste district over here, but we sure are. Anything we could come up with new that would help save and be productive, we sure are.
Great. Do you happen to have a representative or at this time or no?
I
Joe?
do not. I will come up with one, sir.
Appreciate that. Bear Oil?
We're pretty much involved in the solid waste district number 2.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, being way out there, maybe it would be of no interest at that time. So that being said, are you okay if we, your intentions are just to move on with what you're doing there?
Yes, we're not going to change.
Okay, thank you. Superior?
Superior's not on, Mayor.
Green River?
Mayor, we have Councilman George Jost and our Public Works Director, Mark Westenscott.
Great. Okay, appreciate that. And then Rock Springs will have, we may have 2, but I'm thinking Councilman Savage is going to be our person on the solid waste. And then Commissioner Wendling, do you guys
I will
have
do
an
that.
appointment?
I'll do it.
Okay. Appreciate that. That takes care of that. That being said, the same thing with animal control.
Could I ask just one question real quick?
Sure.
Do you have a meeting scheduled for that solid waste?
We will have send that out to everybody once we get the appointments to the board
Okay,
or the
thank you.
committee. And I'm sure Sally's taken note. So once we get everybody's name, that individual will get the contact information and they can then schedule a time to meet.
Mayor.
It's critical to get these appointments made. The reason that we have had this meeting, the second one of probably a couple more to come forward, is we can have some discussion in ways that we can consolidate efforts and save taxpayers money and be more efficient. So we want everybody's participation, but in order to do that, I'm sure we're all busy and you don't want to continue with meeting after meeting after meeting. So it's extremely important that if you do intend, you do have an interest that may benefit your community, that you make those appointments as soon as you can.
Mayor, Commissioner Wendling here.
Yep.
Once those appointments are made, I will I'll organize that first meeting and then we'll determine who's going to lead it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Animal control is another one that we need to discuss. Several of us have our own animal control efforts going on, but I think we can make a lot of a better effort in combining some of those sources. Extremely, or more importantly, that the Sweetwater County, Green River, Rock Springs. But I want to ask Granger, Wamsutter, Bear Oil, Superior, what are you folks doing? Does this interest you at all, being a part of that? Granger, I'm sure that may.
You're on mute.
Well, are we talking over each other here? This is Granger.
Jorgensen, go ahead.
Okay. This is something we're definitely interested in, and what we've done in the past is called into Green River and worked with animal control out of Green River for a couple issues that we've had come up here in the town. So we're definitely interested in animal control. As to exactly what it is you're proposing, I'm not sure yet.
Well, the committee will discuss that. Just if you're interested, could
Yes.
you come up with an appointment and let Sally know, so the group knows?
Do they have to be a council member, or can they be just a resident from the community?
They can be a resident.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Wamsetter, Joe?
Yes, this is Joe, Mayor Wamsetter. I think we're definitely interested right now. We're loose and wild animals or dogs. If it will be, we're just we've got pens and stuff to put them in, but I think we're working with basically the city of Rock Springs right now to bring them over that way to you anyway. So we need to work with you on this.
Okay. Do you have?
I do not have an appointment, but I will get with Sally tomorrow on it.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Sue, I'm sure you're doing your own thing out there in Bear Oil.
Yes, we don't have a problem with animal control. If we do, we call Game and Fish, and they usually come and take care of whatever we have going.
Okay, maybe that's what we should all do, is just call Game and Fish and we'd be good.
Well, what we're dealing with more than dogs is antelope, the wild animals and
Yeah,
stuff. And if there's an issue, we just call them.
we're all dealing with wild animals. They're just not necessarily animals at this point, but Superior,
Yeah, some are two-legged, right?
Superior, what's your thoughts?
Mayor.
They're not on yet still?
They're not on yet.
Mayor Rust, what's your thoughts?
We have Councilman Robert Berg, and then our animal control supervisor, Tracy Wyan.
Okay. Sounds good with that. And
Question, Mayor. Question, Mayor.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, to the mayor. My previous sheet has shown. No, I'm correct. Thank you. No question.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. City of Rock Springs will have Councilman Jeannie Demas and Commander Matt. I forgot his name. Keaton, what's his name?
Sergeant Register.
Kessler.
Kessler.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's only been here 45 years. Commander Kessler, I apologize. Those will be two of our appointments on animal control. Sally, if you just make note of that. That's going to bring us on to
Mayor.
review. Yes.
Sweetwater County, our Commissioner Roy Lloyd for
Oh, I'm
animal
sorry.
control.
Roy Lloyd. Okay, so
Yeah, and then I would also suggest that because we do have animal control out of the county sheriff's office, that the sheriff may choose to appoint somebody to work on that as well, but we'll leave that open, okay?
right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And then going down the list, the number 3, the review of duplication of services within the county. That's a broad topic that we've discussed, and I'd like to leave that up to right now to our monthly meetings between the commission and Mayor Rust, Reed Clevenger, myself. We can handle that. So no discussion at that. We can bring any topics up at a future meeting to the group. Item number 4, the water and sewer. Same thing. This is, we're not ready for this. This is a larger topic that doesn't really affect maybe more than the 3 entities again, Green River County and Rock Springs. Item number 5 and 6, the fire and the police, which is it's a very important topic. The issue that we have right now is we need to have some discussion with our city and town attorneys. we'll bring that forward at a future meeting. There's union contracts involved, and how we can craft pulling everybody together and have more of a unified fire and police force that may benefit the county as a whole is something that I believe everybody's interested in. But at this point, there's no sense setting up a committee to discuss that. Any comments on that? And then item number 7, recreation, same thing. That's just a broad range of topics there that right now we're handling individually, and maybe the county and individual Rock Springs, Green River again, and we'll have those discussions. So, Mr. Chairman, other than those topics and those appointments at this time, that's what I have on the list, and I'm open to any suggestions, comments, but done.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. I'll go back to Mayor Rust. And do you have anything you wish to comment on or where we're at so far, or anything like that, Mayor Rust?
No, I think Tim said it best is that everybody has to, and we didn't have it ready last meeting, but we really need to get these committee appointments so we can get the committees meeting and start to get the feedback. So like I said, Tim already said that, and that's what we have to do, and just encourage all of those folks that have suggested that they'll get back with Sally tomorrow. If they do that, we'll be in good shape.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Chairman, if I could, one other item that was brought up last meeting that was we discussed and kind of tentatively put on the list, and we discussed it today, was SEDC, but I think we're all in agreement that we're comfortable with where they're going, where they're at right now. And the next thing we'll have a discussion on will be City of Green River, City of Rock Springs, and the county on probably the funding portion. But other than that, Mayor, and I think you brought that up. Are you okay with that?
Mayor Rust?
Yeah, we're fine, Tim. I know you guys have discussed it. We've discussed it. So,
okay.
Yep.
Mr.
Right.
Chairman, I turn the floor back over to you.
Thank you. I know we heard from Mayor Rust with regard to the committees. I just want to take a quick poll of our other mayors or representatives, give them an opportunity to have a say for what's happening. So I'll start out again with, we'll start with Granger, your representation. Would you please come on? Any comments so far?
Well, the recreation, that sounds like a big umbrella. And I'm just curious as to, have you decided what all is underneath that and what falls in that particular scenario of recreation?
I think, Mayor, Mayor, you can jump in if you want to, but I think at this time, that's the main thing, is to take a look at what falls under it, what it's going to represent. And I will say this much, it's not ready for prime time, but I am aware and involved in conversations for recreation that over the past 6 years, when I hear about what is really needed in this county, I think there may be some opportunities, but it's not ready for prime time. So if this intergovernmental agency will give us some time here so we can put some finer talking points to it and find out where things are at, then I'll be glad to at that time share. But I think what I may think I know, or even may know, will be very important for the county, but it's something that's just not ready for prime time at this moment, and I apologize for that.
No, that's fine. I just was curious about what all that might entail. So
I will
Okay.
share this much. It's an opportunity. It's opportunity county-wide. It is not focused in one area.
Thank you. As far as police, of course, we're covered by the county Sweetwater County Sheriff's Department out here. So they've done a pretty good job, but I'm not sure as far as a committee or looking into that, whether we would want to be involved with something like that or not. I'm not sure.
Really?
And of course, we go strictly on a volunteer fire department here in town. So we'll definitely want to be kind of kept in the loop with the fire on that anyway, for sure.
Yeah, and we will do that. That's why we have this list. That's why we're tracking it regularly as a intergovernmental joint group, and we'll continue to do so for you.
Okay, well, that's all I have. And thank you for your time and the input.
Thank you very much, Mayor
Mr.
Regano.
Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, just before you move forward, I just want to make sure everybody clearly understands the reason that we're putting these committees together, and to bring up that discussion with police, fire, recreation, whatever it may be, is the funding mechanisms that are intricate to each and every one of these groups that we may be individually paying for. Maybe it's employees or equipment or materials for each and every one of these, and how we could take a look at doing this more efficiently for the entire county. So that being said, these committees are going to be tasked with maybe some restructuring recommendations, districting, mill levies, that kind of stuff. That's what we're looking at. How we can share the costs, how we can make more sense of what we're doing, and we're not duplicating services, so we can eventually save the taxpayers dollars in a time when all of our revenues seem to be, well, not seem to be, are declining. We got to be more efficient. We got to be take a leaner approach to what we're doing, and that's really what the sole goal of this meeting is for these groups to go out amongst themselves and decide how we can do this better, where we can share costs and reduce costs individually to each one of our entities.
Thank you, Mayor. And I think the segue that you provided allows, again, for me to remind everyone that as we move forward and as we have options presented, and there's got to be more than one option, I encourage these committees, because if an option happens to involve a special district consideration, those special districts then will be brought to the table, talked about that option. And again, too, special districts have the right to, for lack of better words, they have a right to play in the sandbox or not play in the sandbox. And we have to keep that in mind. The other thing, too, we're finding out with regard to special districts is revenue's getting very tight for them. And some of them may get to the point where they financially cannot continue going on. So as we're working forward and working parallel to those special districts, it's important to know that we got to keep in mind that what happens if they can no longer function, and where does that financial responsibility lay? So it's important, yes, as we work now, come up with options, but if a viable option involves a special district, that is when we'll bring the special district to the table, as I mentioned earlier. Thank you. Okay, going on, anything else, Mayor Como? So moving on, I believe that.
Sorry,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
That was Granger. I know Superior isn't on yet. Mayor Regano from Bear Oil, anything to add so far?
No, thank you.
Thank you. And Mayor Mary Erickson from Wamsutter.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, I just want to let you know that we will get back with Sally tomorrow, have these appointments so that we can move forward quickly on these. And I do think that some of the things that the solid waste we may not be interested in, I'll run that by my council here tomorrow, but I'll go back to Sally either way with the appointments, or if we're not interested in one of them. I appreciate everybody that's involved in this, all the commissioners, chairman, all the mayors. I think this is a great idea to revamp and save money.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Then, of course, I would open the floor up to any other commissioners or to any other council members if there's something we're missing, if there's a topic we've got to add for our next meeting. Before we move forward, I'll give the floor, and I'll try to watch the screen. Try not to talk over each other, but I'll open the floor at this time.
Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Toman.
I think it would be good under 2A or 2B, consider alternative services, deliveries and costs. Maybe if we could just have each group come up, what would be the ideal without any parameters or anything? It would be ideal for us to have what?
Very good.
An item, then it would be maybe a long-term goal interim and then a short-term. So you have an ideal, maybe a several-year goal and then a short-term. What can we do right away? So 1, 2, 3, what can they help us to start moving towards an ideal?
Very good. Good point. We'll put that in there under committee should consider. Sally got that. She'll add it. Thank you. Any other comments, councilmen, women?
Yes, Mr. Commissioner.
Yes.
I was
Councilman
curious.
Dickerson.
I was curious if we would be able to look at maybe combining our museums and library systems. I don't know how much that costs each individual entity or if it's even feasible to combine them. I was just wondering if we could look into that maybe.
Councilman Hickerson, I think every idea is a good idea, and anything that's brought up we can look at. I would just keep us in mind that there's some things by statute that have to occur, and that's why it's important as we move forward and as we come up with recommendations that our city, town attorneys are involved, as well as the county attorney's office, because by statute, there's some things that are required to happen. And in some ways, some things may not be able to commingle. But at this point in time, I think we should, it's my opinion, that we should look at everything. And then if we run into something where we can't go forward, at least we'll find out we can't. But if we don't try, it's not going to happen. So Councilman Hickerson, am I hearing you say for the next meeting, let's add museums and libraries?
Yes, sir.
And library.
Yeah, no, yeah. The arts type stuff, yeah.
Okay, we'll put those on and we'll have conversations at the next meeting, Councilman.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, identify yourself, please.
Commissioner Lloyd to the right.
Thank you.
Just kind of a comment off Mr. Hickerson. I do think the museums are a great idea. The library system in pretty much in every city except is already under the county system. The one odd exception would be the downtown Rock Springs Library, which the building is, I think, owned by Rock Springs, but it is managed by the county library system. So there's a small partnership there already, but every other library in the county is completely under the system already. So.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner
All
Lloyd.
right,
You're
thank you for-
exactly right. I should have thought of that.
Yeah.
Go
And
ahead.
then-
Go ahead.
Thank you for the
Councilman.
clarification.
All right. So we'll still investigate libraries, but that may not go too much further because they're all county libraries. Is that correct, Commissioner Lloyd? Very good. Okay. I'll put a question mark there and we'll talk with our county attorney's office.
And then, Mr. Chairman, one other comment,
ahead.
not about libraries, but just in general, I think we should, as we send these committees out, I do think we should really look at some set timeframes and timelines and expectations of having some progress done, that each committee's meeting at least once or twice a month, just so we are making move forward and there are some expectations on the committees of some timelines.
Yeah, I think if we look at items for next meeting, there's request items to be discussed, which we're roundtabling now. And then, of course, committees for reports. And the first one I'm going to put on for our next meeting is ambulance, and then any other one that anybody requests. But the ambulance one is probably the one closest to being ready and moving forward. But we can put any other one on. All right, Commissioner Lloyd?
Thank you. And
You're
even
welcome.
if there's a small update from the committees that are only able to meet once,
Oh,
that way we
that
just
makes
know.
sense. Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense. We'll put committee updates. Quick update.
Because if you gave me the chance, I could procrastinate it as long as I can. And the when you have those finite dates, it creates more of a rush.
Procrastination, a new model. Thank you. Let's go back to.
Oh, that's why we're here.
Thank you. Again, I believe we were at Bear Oil, and they didn't have any comment. We did get through Wamsutter. Anything from the commissioners of Sweetwater County? Or anybody else? Council? I'll pause.
Chairman
Okay,
Willing, Reed
yes,
Clevenger.
yes,
I
Mr.
just
Clevenger.
wanted just to add to Commissioner Lloyd's comment that we need to, some of these things that we're going to be looking at, we'll probably get, depending on how fast they meet or the number of times they meet, we're going to go through, they may be getting done a little bit sooner, or some may take a couple more deep dives into it, just because of the complicatedness of them. One of the things that I think we should get those updates, but maybe on the next meeting, it might, focus on, getting the updates, but not making any decisions on any of that stuff until it's all done. Because I believe as a whole, these need to be prioritized, as Mayor Como and Mayor Rust have said, about trying to decide which ones we're going to tackle first based on the types of funding models that are going to be there. And we're going to have to, see which way those are going to have to lean, if it's depending, from general fund, or if it's mill levy, or if it's, special districts, whatever those might be. And I think we need to have them get to a completed stage and then rank and go there and see what the appetite is between the councils, the commissioners, and the public.
Thank you, Mr. Clevenger. For those of you, that was Reed Clevenger from the Green River City Council, Town of Green River, and he's their city administrator. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Clevenger with regard to what he just brought up for understanding of coming to options and prioritizing, but not moving forward until we as a group have that discussion? Did I say that correctly, Mr. Clevenger?
Yes, thanks, Chairman.
Okay, any comments on Mr. Clevenger's? Okay, I'm still going to pause to give people time to think if they have any comments, and then we'll go on for items for next meeting and set a date. Okay, for next meeting, I have items to be set. We'll look at museums because we know we have city as well as county museums. That'll be one to look at, to add. We'll get ready for that one. We'll investigate libraries, and Commissioner Lloyd, I know you're the liaison to the libraries. Is that correct?
Yes,
Would you please follow through and investigate that with and make sure that we're on board that everything is county, and if it is, report back at the next meeting?
I definitely will. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So anyhow, those are 2 items for the next meeting. Does anybody have an item that they'd like to bring forward to this joint meeting for the next meeting? Thank you. For committee reports, I believe what we should do is what we heard from leadership from the 2 larger cities, and that is, first of all, we'll have updates from those different committees at the next meeting. We'll just go down the line, see where you're at. I think ambulance should be number 1, just from the standpoint of where I believe we're at with ambulance in the county. And so that'll be first, and then we'll move right through the list just for an update. And when a committee feels they're completed, they can list their options and present them from there. Mayors, or is that an okay for next meeting?
Rock Springs, okay.
Very good.
That works for me too. We just need to give some time to the committees before they report back and before we have our next meeting.
I agree, Mayor. So let's make sure everybody's okay with what we set for the meeting for small towns.
This is Joe Erickson with Town of Wamsutter.
Thank
I think
you.
that works good for us.
Okay, Mayor Regano.
We're good.
Okay, Granger.
We're okay with that.
All right, and we'll feel superior when they get on. Okay, so our next point. Don't get excited, because once we schedule a meeting, we can. I'll open the floor again for any comments or suggestions. But let's schedule a meeting next. Mayors, let me ask this. Am I on? Yeah, I am. My question would be is how soon, mayors? Or do you want
I-
to
On behalf of Ms. Regano, we're saying 2 weeks.
go ahead, Mayor? Go ahead, Bear Oil.
Mayor Regano indicated 2 weeks.
Okay, we have a request for the 17th. Mayors?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mayor
It-
Rust.
you know, the committees aren't even going to be organized until really next week would be the earliest they're going to meet. They need to meet a couple of times first. So, I mean, we're really into March, I
Okay.
think.
Let me go back to Mayor Regano. Would you be agreeable to going to the, like, let's just say the Wednesday, the 3rd, I guess, first Wednesday in March? I know it's your council meeting night.
Mayor Regano indicates yes.
Thank you very much. We'll stay with the same time and hopefully we can keep it to an hour. All right, so I would ask Mayor Como, 3rd of March.
Mr. Chairman, that looks like it'll work for us.
Okay, let's see, Joe, Mayor of Wamsutter, Erickson, Joe Erickson,
Yeah, this is Joe with Wamsutter. I think that would work just fine for us.
Granger, will this work for you?
Yes, I believe it will. And also, Mayor McCollum, he did get pulled into work tonight, and so that's why he's not on here with us. So I'll pass that on and we'll look for the agenda.
Well, barring any bad weather, we'll hope Mayor McCollum can join us, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, with that, our next meeting will be March 3rd at 5:30. I'll continue to, unless otherwise requested, to organize meetings out of the Commissioner's Chamber here in Green River. For any of you that may not realize it, but our chamber has been remodeled. We do have social distancing. It's bigger, and if you choose to want to be here in person, we can accommodate some in-person visiting. So I'll leave that open. Before I call for an adjournment, would anybody out there, what is it that you feel that's near and dear to your heart that would make this joint intergovernmental council a better organization, or what can I do for the Sweetwater County Intergovernmental Joint Leadership Group? If you feel you think of something after tonight, get a hold of me. Don't hesitate. Anything for the good of the order? All right, if somebody thinks of something, email me or call me. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So
Rock
moved
Spring.
by Commissioner Toman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lloyd. Thank you very much. It was an enjoyable evening. Appreciate everybody's work. Take care. Be
Thanks,
safe.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.